Kia ora, this is Arun Jacob, your friendly and frank licensed New Zealand immigration advisor. As always, coming live from my office here in Hamilton, New Zealand. This broadcast is going live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. And I request the viewers on YouTube who would like to ask some questions to come to the Facebook page and ask your questions there because it will be difficult for me to toggle between the Facebook and the YouTube screens and also do justice to all your questions and answers in the next 1 hour. Well, as always, I will start by showing a picture of my license. That is what I have. I am a licensed New Zealand immigration advisor, and above my shoulder there's also another copy of my license on the wall. And legally, I need to be able to show this to you guys and prove that I'm who I'm saying I am. So, well, it's a pleasure to work with my team. We are a wonderful team and a big team of people, almost 30 of us now. And for many years now, we have been helping people to move to New Zealand. And some of them we have helped to be able to migrate directly. And a lot of them have opted to come to New Zealand for higher education. And after completion of their course, they have been able to then create those opportunities as a career. And when you find a job in New Zealand, more often than not, it actually leads to a situation where you can apply for residency. So that's the kind of work my team and I have been doing. And it's been absolutely pleasurable to work with young people from different parts of the world. And a large amount of focus for my team and myself is working with international students. A lot of them are desirous of making the investment of money, time, and effort and come into New Zealand and study here. And also, after completion of the course, most of them are aspiring for careers, and a lot of them would also aspire to go in for residency. And I think that is probably one of the nicest pathways to make New Zealand your future home because when you come in as an international student, you come in with enough time. Normally, if you're coming at the right level of course, you're going to do that course and then also have, if it's at the right level, you also get something called the post-study work visa, which is a fantastic policy introduced by the government of New Zealand, which allows graduates to stay in New Zealand and find employment. And if it is related to the work that they have done, or sorry, to the course that they have completed, and if it is at the right level and the right salary, then there's a very good opportunity that it could also lead to residency in New Zealand. And a lot of people are doubtful, saying, well, education actually lead to residency. And some people in the industry, especially from the institutions, also don't like to talk very openly about it because they say that we are primarily an education organization and we don't want to talk too openly about migration. But which is where someone like myself, who is a licensed immigration advisor, is able to, kind of connect all these dots and tell you how one thing can lead to the other. Because some might desire to come to New Zealand purely for education and then go back to their country of origin, which is fantastic because you're going to come to New Zealand to get education in a very nice environment and a beautiful, safe, and very welcoming country. But some would also like to kind of get some returns from the investment they've made and get a job and a career and hopefully residency to live in New Zealand. So both those thoughts are very good, and we are here to help with either one of those thoughts. And so while we are waiting for some questions to come in, you guys can start typing your questions. If you're on YouTube, please click on that link, which will bring you to our Facebook page, and you can ask the questions and I will answer them. But in the meantime, I already have a ready question from somebody called Priya, who is already in touch with the AJV team. And she's written a very nice email asking for some clarification. So I'm going to utilize this opportunity to answer her questions. And she writes, hi, Arun, I'm Priya from Chennai. Hope you're doing well. Glad that I'm able to connect with you. I'm already in touch with AJV team. I've done my Bachelor of Commerce, then started working with the multinational corporation bank from 2006. Then I took maternity break and was not able to continue my career. Now I would like to do my higher studies, a postgraduate diploma. and get back to my job. So I have a few doubts related to this. Question number one: will I get admission by having 8 years of break? Very good question, Priya, because uh, the admission is really not a problem. We work with a lot of students who've had very long breaks, 8, 9, 10 years. So admission is not a problem. I can assure you, visa is also not a problem, as long as we are able to clearly explain the reasons for that break and what you were doing in the meantime. So I think that's absolutely not a problem. Admission and visa. If yes, can I do postgraduate diploma in management systems or postgraduate diploma in business information systems? I prefer this course since I want to become a business analyst. Will there be any problem in future when I try for job or permanent residency? As I'm obtaining this pathway to get a job and settle in New Zealand. A good moment in your life to be making a choice to get into a subject that is close to your heart or an interest that is close to your heart. So, although you've had business sort of experience, I'm thinking over the last 8, 9 years or however long you worked, it's a good opportunity to move into business analysis if you think that's what is really required. And although business analysts sound very technical, it is really somebody who understands the process inside a particular industry very well. For instance, I think I could be a very good business analyst for the migration industry because I understand all the processes very well. So if you have that good background and and experience, and now able to add a postgraduate diploma in business information analysis, I think it's actually a very good combination and a good moment to also change your a career and move in a new direction which you want. The next question, since I'm from BCom background, should I go for postgraduate diploma in business or international business? So whether I should go in for business information or a more generic business course is what you're looking at. Like I said, it's your interest. From my side, the way I look at it is if you're very keen to shift into a more business analyst kind of a role, I would suggest you get into that, especially if you're very strong in your functional area in whatever you work. So that functional area knowledge followed by this course can actually make you into a very good business analyst. But if you have doubts and you think you may not really fit in, also before I started this session, I quickly checked to see how many business analyst opportunities are available in New Zealand. I went to our largest job site called seek.co.nz. Quite a lot of opportunities there. So I don't think there's some 360 or 370 opportunities I saw. Obviously, they'll be looking at people with experience, or if you're really good in a communication and you can sit across the table and say, hey, look, I'm a good business analyst because I have functional experience, followed by a good course, graduation from business analysis. So based on that, I would like to seek an opportunity. The one slight chink in your armor is that you've been away from work for some time, so that might be a little concern. So other than that, I would encourage you to look at it. But again, like I said, your heart and your mind needs to decide whether business analysis you feel confident and strong enough going forward that it can be a business analyst. Otherwise, take the easier option. Do a more generic business course, which will then allow you to either become um, an admin person or an HR person or a sales and marketing person or any other business areas is what I would probably suggest. So, so that is my recommendation to you. Also, if I get through admission, I would like to bring my daughter along with me. So I'm restricting my locations to Auckland, Hamilton, Wellington, Christchurch because I feel it is a little difficult to manage alone if the places are isolated. What's your suggestion on this? I'm thinking of these places because of the possibilities of my husband's job as well. Obviously, the larger cities you choose, more opportunities. So I think your choice is pretty good. So hopefully, I've answered your questions, Priya. If you have follow-up questions, please share it with my team members and we'll be able to provide you more answers. So now coming back to the uh, questions that are being posed on this chat right now. There is a chat from NetServe What? This is a YouTube query. Question is, do you think of pure possibilities in New Zealand after studying level 7? If not level 7, how about level 8 or 9? Good question. I don't think the levels really matter because either if you're doing a level 7 or an 8 or a 9, you will be getting your post-study work visa. So I think what is more important is that you need to get a relevant job that is related to the course that you have completed, and that more than likely is what is going to make you in that points position where you can apply for residency. So 7, 8, and 9 are equally good, depends on what subject choice. So I think that's what you need to do, and that's where someone like us, experts in this field, can talk to you and guide you very clearly. Okay, so please connect with our team. Okay, Abhishek, yeah, Ivan Prasad asks, "Hi Ajay, how is the IT job market? Which city you suggest?" IT job market is good, Abhishek. As I keep saying in my videos, we have something called long-term skill shortage list, and you look at that long-term skill shortage list. There are a lot of IT positions and IT occupations that are clearly described in that. So IT is good, and because it's called the long-term skill shortage list, it means that the government has been studying to see which are the skills that are not being addressed in New Zealand. And I also spoke to somebody very senior in the IT industry, and they said the problem why we have such a skill shortage in IT in New Zealand is because not enough local graduates are being grown to address the needs of the IT industry. And also, by the time they actually finish their college degrees or whatever, by the time they come to that point where they can seek employment, technologies are jumping ahead and something else is coming into the market. So, because of which, there's always going to be a shortage in IT. And so, New Zealand will have to import good skilled people in information technology. Coming in as an international student, doing an IT course, and then seeking a job, I think is also a good option. So please connect with the team, Ivan, Abhishek, and we will be happy to guide you here. Right, there is a question from Praveen Gaire. Hello, sir. I'm from Nepal and I want to study in New Zealand. I have 49% in plus two and 5.5 in IELTS. Okay, Praveen, both your percentage as well as your IELTS seems to be a little less. You have not mentioned what course you're looking at or what subject. But overall, if I look at a 5.5, you can more than likely only join at a diploma level 5. So if you're opting for something that's at a level 4 and 5, probably you should be able to get in. The percentage also is quite low. But if you score a level 6, if you score 6 in your IELTS with no band lower than 5, then you can opt for level 6 or 7. So because you've done only plus 2, you might be looking at getting into a bachelor's, which is a level 7. So for that, you're falling short of the IELTS. I suggest you talk to our team, and we will kind of help you and counsel you to see if you can work on your IELTS a little bit. PT is another good option, and hopefully bring it to that point where you can get into the right course. At your current IELTS and your percentage, I think it looks a little bleak, to be honest, but we would like to talk to you. So please connect with our team. And we have somebody on the team. Some of our staff members are very well versed working with students from Nepal. So we'll be very happy to work with you. Okay, cool. Um, Right. Ajay Bhatta asks, can you provide information regarding PhD in commerce field? Ajay, like any PhD, whether it's commerce field or science field or any other field, a PhD obviously requires a person at a higher level of academic achievement. In New Zealand, our levels are divided from 1 to 10, and the highest is PhD, which is at level 10. Before that is master's at 9 and the postgraduate diploma at 8, so on and so forth. So it kind of that's how it goes. So then what is the information you want? I've actually made a fantastic video and it's put up on YouTube. Go to my YouTube channel or just go to YouTube and type Arun Jacob New Zealand and my channel is going to come up. And once you get into the channel, search for a video which says advantages of studying a PhD in New Zealand. And I've explained it very clearly. I don't want to repeat it in this chat, but just go there and have a look and then connect with our team. And we will be absolutely be delighted to work with you because we love working with PhD students. We love to work with that higher level of student who will not only do well for themselves, but also do well for a country like New Zealand. So look forward to working with you. Have a look at that video. There are some very clear advantages mentioned about doing a PhD in New Zealand, including domestic fees, or if your proposal is really good, there is a very good possibility you can get funding as well. All right, so have a look and then connect with us, and we will take it forward. Yeah. Jimmy Sandhu from YouTube asks, hello, sir. I have been communicating with your office in India. I'm not getting what I'm looking for. Can you please ask someone more experienced person from your company? Absolutely, Jimmy. I'm little surprised that you're not happy with our team because we pick our team members very selectively. And like I said, we are very dedicated and committed. That's why I keep coming week after week, not once, but twice in the week to be able to talk to all of you directly, because I know most of you guys want to listen to someone like myself who sits in New Zealand and has a license and has been in this industry for, I think now coming up to my 16th year now. So that entire team is very experienced. But above the frontline advisor, there are team leaders. Above the team leader, there is a manager. Above the manager, there are senior managers. And then right on top is me. So you have access to all of us. Team, if you're listening, please make a note and connect with Jimmy. And before this day is over, I want confirmation from my team that Jimmy has been taken care of. All right? Yeah, cool. And Jimmy, thanks for choosing us. Much appreciated. Okay. Mohammed Naveed from YouTube asked, Dear Jacob, can you please share some information about labor type visa? Okay. Mohammed, it's not easy to get labor visas to New Zealand. I mean, it's not something that we are trying to import into our country. We are not trying to get into that labor scenarios. We are trying to pick the talent like people. We want people. I mean, that's why we have our. It's called the skill migrant category policy category, where there are certain skills that we are trying to import. Unfortunately, laborers are not in it. And in fact, if I look at anybody who is below, the white collar sort of jobs, the only people we are trying to attract, besides people from science and information technology and the health and those kinds of backgrounds, we are looking at, and from the trades, I mean, we are looking at automotive electricians, diesel motor mechanics, electricians, and electrical line mechanics. So that's all we are looking for. So trying to find a labor visa to New Zealand may not be the right thing for you because there's really no clearly defined pathway for it. And we really don't need to import labor into New Zealand. I think we have adequate local workers. Right. Abhishek asks me another question. Can spouse come as a dependent? Yes, if you're choosing the right level, of course. Even if you're choosing some other course, spouse can always accompany on a visitor visa and still be here. But if you choose the right level of course, spouse can come on a work visa. How much is the living cost, and is there any proof of funds required? If yes, how much? Well, for living costs, the international student needs to show $15,000 are available for 1 year of study, and the accompanying spouse needs to show $4,200 are available to that person to take care of themselves for living expenses while they're in New Zealand. Uh, is there any proof of funds requirement? Yes, there is a long list. There are certain types of funds which are accepted and certain which are not accepted. Certain sponsors are accepted, certain sponsors are not accepted. I don't want to get into the nitty gritties and the details too much in this live chat, but do connect with our team, and we have a fantastic visa team who will ensure that you're given all the information. All right, yeah. And also, Jimmy, if you're still listening, our team leader Sai has confirmed that they will talk to you and sort out your issue. All right, yeah. Suhas Vilri says video is not streaming. I hope it's streaming. Team, please confirm to me on Skype that it is streaming, please. Swarnali Mundal says, Hi, Arun. Hope you're doing well. Can you tell me what is most preferred in the animation field in New Zealand? Windows software or Mac software? Which one is flexible to use for me? Wow. Very detailed and technical questions, Swarnali. And I must confess, honestly, I have no idea. I am not a film animator. Although I like to make films, by the way, that's my secret desire. My secret passion is to be a filmmaker. and which is when, if I had an opportunity, I'll become a filmmaker tomorrow. But what I'm going to do is we're going to find this out for you. We're going to talk to some experts in the industry who are either in the industry already, or some of our previous students who have done this course and got, are already working. We will connect you to them. I hope you're working with us, Varnali, because we normally like to connect our past students and clients only to new AJV students. So I hope you're working with us. If yeah, uh, yeah, if there are any, if you are committed to working with us, we will definitely connect you, and you will get the information that you're looking for. I promise you that. Okay, I was just checking to see, look at messages from my team to see if the video is coming or not coming, and I think it seems to be fine. Yeah. Team, just confirm to me if it's going fine. Otherwise, I can disconnect and start again. Okay. Uh, Mohammad Sami asks, what is the scope of an MBA? Good question, Sami. I think the scope for any MBA would be the same, like any other country. MBA is at the master's level, and obviously that means you're already at a particular level of uh, uh, at a particular level of competence. Scope would be the same. My only suggestion to you is to not get into too narrow a focus in your MBA, unless you're a complete expert in that. So if, let's say, you already have background as a sales and marketing professional, then opt for an MBA that is specifically in that area, or most papers in that area. But otherwise, keep it general, and I think you should be able to find something. New Zealand has got a massive service industry and sector, and we're constantly looking for business professionals and admin, sales, marketing, finance, HR, human resources, in all areas of business. So MBA would have a good scope. Connect with our team, and we will put some options in front of you. Sometimes maybe an MBA is not what you really are looking for. You might be looking at a postgraduate diploma. That's something we will discuss with you as well. But we can do it if you connect with us, Sami. So please connect with our team, and we'll take it forward from there. Right. And I just got confirmation from my team that Swarnali is indeed one of our students. So thank you, Swarnali, as always. A big thank you to all of you who choose to work with us. And I promise you, we will connect you to one of our students who's already done this course or doing that course right now. And then you will get further information. Okay, right. Okay, Robert Shrestha asks me, what if a student has passed the exam in a second try? So if your question is, you got your you passed your exam in your second try, and will you get a student visa? That seems to be a question. I don't think there is any problem, Robert. But I mean, by and large, Immigration New Zealand is not there to prevent from giving visas. They are there to give visas, but obviously they want to do some checks and balances. They don't want to unnecessarily burden somebody who is really weak in their exams with having to go abroad and study, nor do they want to burden the system in New Zealand with people who are obviously going to fail. So, I mean, but also bear in mind, international education is a big business for our country now in New Zealand. So, we also want to attract a lot of good international students. So, by and large, visa officers will be in favor of granting a visa. And only, I think, in really extreme cases, they will say no. And I think it's also important which is the company that's presenting your visa application. Because if you work with somebody like us, like AGB, for instance, we will be very upfront and tell you what your chances of visa are. We have some professionals on our team who are practically like immigration officers and know exactly by looking at your profile what is possible and what is not possible. So connect with us, and we will tell you whether we can take up your case. All right, Robert? Yeah. Okay, another query from YouTube. Thompson David, what are the opportunity for a dentist in New Zealand? How can I migrate and how can I reside there permanently? Good question, Thompson. And I'm not sure if dentists are in our Okay, let me see. Okay, right. Dentists are not in our long-term skill shortage list at the moment, but dentists, I think, by and large, are in demand in practically every country across the world. The only problem with health professionals in wanting to migrate into a country like New Zealand is that you will have to have the required background to be able to get registration to practice as a dentist in New Zealand. So I think for health professionals, not just dentists, but physiotherapists and doctors and nurses and all health professionals, basically, I think your biggest challenge is to be able to get that registration in New Zealand. Once you get that registration in New Zealand, and if you're able to get a relevant job in New Zealand, I think you will be then placed well enough to get the required number of points to make an application for residency. If you can't be given residency directly because certain conditions have to be met, then the immigration department can consider in giving you something called the skilled migrant category job search visa, which will allow you to come into New Zealand and pick up a job and then kind of work towards your residency. So the opportunities exist, but I must tell you that for health professionals, it's a bit more difficult. There are more steps to climb, and which is where sometimes, as a professional, I suggest that it's not a bad idea to invest into a health course and come into New Zealand, be based here, onshore here, while you're here, finish all your registration processes. By the time you complete your course and you get your post study work visa, get done with the registration processes, create a network, go around and spread your CV. And I think that's when you're a bit more comfortable in seeking an opportunity and hopefully moving on to residency. So that's probably my recommendation to you. So what I would suggest is email your CV, and if you're married, your spouse's or partner's CV to info@ajvglobal.com. I'll have a look and we will revert back with some solutions for you. All right. Thanks, Thompson. Abhishek again asks, what are most in demand jobs? I don't know if you're talking about in IT or in generally, I don't know. Most in jobs in IT, I would suggest go to our largest website for jobs called Seek, seek.co.nz, and go type it there, and you should be able to see what are the most in demand jobs. Somebody from YouTube again has asked, Small Journey from YouTube says, work to residency programs, long-term shortages. Not clear what your question is, but work to residency programs normally happen when you find job with somebody called an accredited employer. So an accredited employer is somebody that Immigration Department of New Zealand has kind of assessed and gone through their entire structure and their organization and said, okay, these are people who have a need to import some workers. So they give them something called an accredited employer status. So if someone gets a job with an accredited employer, then what essentially is happening is that you are pretty much on your way to residency if you continue to work with them, or there could be small variations, but that's what is called the work to residency, is when you get a job with an accredited employer. If you want us to do an assessment, email your CV, and if you're married, your spouse, or if you're in a partnership, your partner's CV to info@ajbglobal.com. We will take a look and we will come back and let you know. And if you have found employment or a job offer with an accredited employer, let us know about that as well. We will do an assessment and come back to you. All right, thanks. Okay, so Haas Wilry asks, I hope I'm reading that out correct. After getting student visa, will AJV start spouse visa parallel with student visa? So Haas, by and large, we collect all the documents required for the spouse visa and keep it ready. We like to first finish off this student visa application and get the approval in principle, and then we immediately file for the spouse work visa. Why we trying to do that is essentially to ensure that there is certainty that the first person has got the visa, and also to save you guys some money. If you're going to put both visas, both the application fees will be taken anyway. But if you do the student visa first and then immediately put in the spouse visa application, we know that, yeah, one is ticked and two is also likely to go through. So that's the reason we wait till there is an approval. The other thing we are very careful about is that we do not accept couples where we are doubtful that the spouse will get a work visa. And unlike a lot of other agencies, most agencies tell international students, don't worry, you get your visa first. Your spouse will definitely get it. They say things like that. We don't say things like that. We ensure we do a proper analysis of the student as well as the spouse. And in our heads, we must be very certain that there's a very high chance of getting the visa. Only then we accept it. Otherwise, we are brutally honest and we tell you, I don't think your spouse will get a visa. And yeah, we are very clear about situations like that. Okay. So, and the other important thing, if you're for all of you who are listening and working with other agencies, you need to be working with an agency which has got a licensed immigration advisor. If you don't have If that agency doesn't have a licensed immigration advisor, they cannot do any visas except the student visa. So you need to be sure about it, because a lot of agencies ask their clients to lie after they do the student visa. They say, we will do a spouse visa also. They'll take a little money, but then they'll ask the clients to lie because the agency knows that a license is required. Uh, Most often than not, the clients don't know. So the clients are confused, saying, why are these people asking us to lie? But because they have already helped with one visa, the clients also say, okay, we will say what is being said, what is being told us to say. But then immigration officers are trying to catch these lies, and then it will go under character, saying you lied to us, you did not use a licensed advisor. So because of that, we're going to reject your visa. So be careful, work with a company like AGV, which has got a licensed immigration advisor, and another one is also on the way. And hopefully we'll have three licensed immigration advisors by July, and hopefully another three more next year. So we are growing our team very dramatically, and we would like to serve all you guys. So if you're not working with HJV, now is your chance. Uh, Please contact our team, and we would love to help you. Yeah. Next question. Kumar Siddharth, I'm a student of final year grad. What are the requirements for me to immigrate? I don't think you'll be able to immigrate as a fresh graduate, Kumar, because first of all, you will not have work experience. More than likely, you're not married, and so you need to get something 160 points for age, work experience, qualification. If you're married, your spouse qualification, whether you have a job in New Zealand or not. So there's a certain parameters. So as a fresh graduate, I don't think you'll be able to immigrate to New Zealand directly, which is where we as a company and as a professional, I strongly propose the study plus settle pathway. Once you finish your final year course, I would recommend that you look at a higher course in New Zealand. It'll cost you about $20,000 for the fees, and you'll have to show and also have living expenses. But more often than not, students also, because they're able to work part time when they're studying, are able to take care of their living expenses by and large. And after you complete the course, you can get a 1 year post study work visa. In that 1 year, you find a job that's relevant to the course you've completed. That's when you're likely to get the required number of points to migrate to New Zealand. So for someone like you who's young and still in the final year and about to graduate, that will be the pathway that I would recommend. Okay, so connect with our team, Kumar, and we'll provide all the information. The other thing I want to tell all the viewers, please don't hesitate to connect with our team. We are not some, like devilish salespeople who will then come running behind you just because you initiated contact with us. We are here to give you honest, clear, simple information. Put the options in front of you. You want to take it, great. You don't want to take it, that's fine. So we are not people who will harass you, say, come work with us. We are very cool. We are very chilled out. We like our comfort. We like the comfort of our clients. So we're not going to push anybody. But if you really are looking for genuine, honest information, you need to speak to a good company. If I'm talking about New Zealand, I need to first know what the heck New Zealand is all about. So, and right now I'm coming live from New Zealand. So choose the right company, choose a company like AJV, and we'll give you honest information and never ever put any pressure on you. So reach out to our team without any mental barriers, thinking, oh, these guys will now be behind my back. No, we will not do that. We get enough number of inquiries from different parts of the world, and we have enough people who are constantly talking to us. But we expect, we would love for each person to talk to us, at least understand what are the opportunities. It will not be for everybody. Some might take the information and say, okay, not for me, forget it. Yeah, so be it. All right, cool. Okay, another YouTube query from Akshat Patle. For my first employer, I'm a bit reluctant gathering some documents, bank statements and Form 16 to prove the authentication of my salary. Will it lead to an issue while filing PR visa at later stage? Currently, I'm heading for educational purpose to Hamilton, New Zealand. Team, just confirm to me if Akshat Patle is one of our students. Akshat, you will also need to confirm if you're working with one of our students, because if you are one of our students, we would have assessed all this already. Tim, if you are able to tell me quickly if Akshad Patle is one of our students, it will be great. But Akshat, the thumb rule is that any document introduced into a visa file is part of your official records. So, and Immigration Department of New Zealand will ask you to authenticate these documents now or later, whenever they want. They are the assessing department and authority. So they were more than likely going to ask you. If not now, maybe in future they might ask you. So I would strongly recommend that you speak to our team if you're not already working with us, because as I said, we are immigration professionals, and we know to look at the technical aspects of a visa application. If you're already processing your application through somebody else, then I think you need to check with that agency. But if you're not, talk to us, and we would absolutely like to take a look at your documents and give you some suggestions. All right. Cool. Raman Brar asks me, after a gap of 6 years in studies, is it possible to study again in New Zealand? Absolutely, Raman. I think one of our clients who came about 2 years back, she was about 52 years old, and I think she had a gap of about 14 or 15 years in studies. So it's not about the gap. It is what is it that you've been doing, in the last few years, and whether there's a genuine requirement or genuine interest to go for higher studies. So it's normally not a problem, and we are very good uh, with our assessment of applications. And we are very brutally honest. We will tell you whether you have a chance or not. But from my experience so far, we've never ever had a problem with anybody with gaps, because we present our cases in the right manner with honest information, with all the real reasons, and put it out there. And by and large, most visa officers say, yeah, cool, this is all good. The story is adding up, and we are happy to give a visa. So, which is where I think you need to work with someone like us, and so we can talk to you and put that story together well and present it to the visa officer. Okay? But no problem with the gap. And my team just confirmed, Raman, that you're actually working with us. So thanks for that. Much appreciated. It's always a pleasure to work with good clients who choose a good company. And so thanks for choosing us. And we will ensure that that gap is not a problem. Kumar Siddharth, and how much money should I have to immigrate? Enough to be able to do a good course in New Zealand, plus living expenses. So that's how much you need, Kumar. Please connect with our team, Kumar, and I think we'll be able to provide you some more information to see how much will it cost, how much can you earn, what happens while you're studying, what happens after you study, how this can lead to immigration, and also check out my YouTube channel because a lot of good information is there as well. Okay. Okay, Raman has a follow-on query. I have completed masters in arts and having 6 bands in each module. Can I eligible? I think yeah, six is all right. Six is pretty good. Although my team would have told you by now, Raman, what exactly you're looking at. So, but with the six, you are eligible for a level 7 course. So yeah, absolutely, I can see a graduate diploma, and that possibility definitely exists. So I think yeah, you're good. And if you've done your masters in arts, and we'll also take that into consideration and say how what kind of a course will suit your profile. All right, but yeah, I think six is all right. Yeah, 6.5 would have been better, but six is all right. Yeah. Suhas asked, "Does AJV help in marketing spouse resume?" Not really, Suhas. We don't do that. I'll be honest. Why? I expect people coming to New Zealand to be capable of taking care of um, of marketing themselves. If you are so weak, or the people coming into New Zealand are so weak that they can't market themselves, I think you need to sit back and ask that serious question to yourself, saying, "Am I doing the right thing?" Because yeah, everybody has got desire in your heart to achieve great things, but you also need to be conscious whether you have the ability to achieve those great things. I mean, at one time in my life, I aspired to play cricket for India, but and I think went up to the state level, but at that level, I realized the talent was so much better, and I realized I'm probably in the wrong race. So that's important. So also that's why we like to give some tips to our clients and to their spouses and provide some help. We help with some networking and uh, give formats for CVs and cover letters. But by and large, we expect people to be able to succeed in this environment. And what we can provide is good advice and all along good moral support, connect you with more people who've been there, put you into the right positive environments, and that's how it happens. We do have a long-term desire to actually start a placement company within AJV, which will then act like a recruitment company and then take that resume and do it. But maybe it will take another year or so. At the moment, what we do is we help in creating those networks and giving positive confidence and formats of CVs and cover letters and ensuring that you're also, channelizing your efforts in the right direction. Okay, cool. Right. Okay. Next one is this is from YouTube. Raquel Olsland. I hope I said that right. Hi. What do you think about Toy Ohomai courses? I'm planning to study Master of Management there. Good institution. Toy Ohomai is a new entity, a relatively new entity. It came about because of the merger of two institutions in New Zealand called Wairiki Polytechnic and Bay of Plenty Polytechnic. In fact, if you look at that certificate there, that one there, yeah, that is my graduate certificate in New Zealand Immigration Advice, which I completed from Bay of Plenty Polytechnic, and which is now called Toi Ohomoi. So Toi Ohomoi is a government-owned institution, good institution. I would recommend it. Some of our students have gone there. We know some of the senior people there very well, and we have a great rapport with them. And being a government-owned and operated institution, there's a lot of accountability and good campuses. I've been to these campuses, so good course choice. My query is whether you're choosing the right consulting agency to come to New Zealand. If you're not working with AJB, work with us. Raquel, we would love to work with you, and not because coming to New Zealand is just step, one. There are 5, 6, 7, 8 other steps if you want to succeed in New Zealand, and which is where you will need someone locally here to speak to and keep getting that guidance. So if you're not working with us, request you to connect with our team and work with us, Raquel. But Toyohoma is a good institution. Okay. Okay. Imran Malik has shared his number. Thanks, Imran. Our team will get in touch. Okay. There is a question again from YouTube. Srijit asks, what about registered nurses? I'm going to complete my CAP course soon. Well, there is a demand for nurses. If you're going to complete your CAP course soon, put your CV out there in the marketplace and see what comes your way. I have some friends who are working as nurses. In fact, two of them are male nurses as well. So I think the scope is there for nurses. So finish your course successfully, put your CV out there, and hope for the best. And I'm sure something will come your way. Julian Raymond, hi Aaron. I have 9 years working experience in sales and marketing and holding bachelor's degree in commerce. So would you please suggest me any degree course which might be beneficial to me? And what would be the preferred location? And after study, how soon I may get job and immigration? If you're holding a bachelor's degree in commerce, Julian, obviously it's got to be a business course for you. Uh, and because you have experience in sales and marketing, you might want to choose a business course, which is generic in nature, but which has got a few papers in uh, sales and marketing, as well as uh, other areas of business like HR or tourism. By the way, my team has just confirmed, Julian, that you're working with us. So thanks for that. Appreciate your trust and confidence in us. So what you will need, I think you will need to decide in your mind whether you want to continue in sales and marketing or look at other options. So my recommendation is to do a business course which is a bit more generic, so that you're not restricted to one area and sort of keep it, unless you're very clear that you really want to be only in sales and marketing. But otherwise, do a more generic business course where you can then end up being an admin or HR or finance or various other areas. And my team says that you also have an interest in HR, tourism, and supply chain. I would say keep it a bit more generic. Uh, Tourism is again an interesting area you're looking at, but just from your background, I would say stick to a business course, which doesn't put you into one specific area, but a bit more generic, and hopefully that will set you up to picking up a job. And I think more than anything else, it's important that you have fantastic communication skills, because for business people, even I come from a BCom background myself. I think what's important for us is because we guys don't have technical skills or things we do with the hand, we'll have to do a lot with our mouth. So, and I mean it in the communication sort of way. So yeah, so I hope you have good communication skills. And a team also confirms that you're planning to come with your family. We'd be happy to help you. Send your documents to us, and we will look into all that. And also in our company, we do two, three, four levels of checking of each course to make sure it matches the requirement of that particular student. So absolutely, go ahead and send your documents. We will look at it, and we will come back to you and put some options in front of you. Okay. Imran Qureshi asked, is it possible to bring family while studying a course in New Zealand? I am a graphic designer and looking forward to studying and settling there. Yes, Imran, it's possible. You will need to choose a particular level of course. If you're choosing a level 7, it needs to be a perfect match to something called a long-term skills shortage list, which is where your spouse will also be eligible to get a work visa. If you're not, if you're going higher, if you're going into a level 8 or 9 or 10 course, then definite possibility exists for the spouse to come on a work visa. Even if the spouse is not eligible to come on a work visa, a visitor visa is possible, but we recommend that work visa will be better because one is working and the other one is studying. So obviously a bit of income is coming in as well. Graphic designers are in demand. I won't say greatly, but some of our students who have finished graphic design courses are doing quite well at the moment. And I can think of at least 3 or 4 names of our students who finished courses in graphic design and are now pretty well placed and doing quite well. In fact, one of them recently, in fact, not one, 3 of them got their residency recently. So good choice. We can suggest some good courses and other aspects because you're also planning to come with your family, Imran. You'll need to start talking to us quickly because we'll need to ensure that the whole family can get visas. So connect with our team. We will assess everything, put some course options in front of you, and also suggest to you what are the other areas you could look at in terms of full family being here and your future aspiration to get residency. Okay, so please get in touch with the team. For everybody wondering how to get in touch with our team, simple. Email your CV to info@ajvglobal.com. That's all it is. Just send your CV with contact numbers to info@ajvglobal.com. That's all. And we'll pick it up and we'll come back and talk to you. Okay, whoa, my throat is going dry. Next question from Gautam Chabra. And I think Gautam has confirmed working with us. Thank you, Gautam. You're a very smart person. You chose to work with AJV. Cool. Hi, sir. I'm working in banking industry as a BA, non-IT profile. BA being, I think, business analyst. I have reviewed long-term skill requirement list for New Zealand and found a suitable course for supply chain and management. Okay. Again, as I keep saying, Gautam, don't pick a course just because it is sitting in the long-term skills shortage list of New Zealand. In fact, I've made a video. It's sitting there on my YouTube channel. Please go there and search for it. Which says, I think it says, should I pick a long-term skill shortage list course or something like that? You should get into something like supply chain management if that's your heart's desire. Because from what you have described, you said you're working in banking industry as a business analyst in a non-IT profile. So I don't think it's got anything to do with supply chain. And you seem to be moving in the direction of getting into the supply chain management course, mainly because it's sitting there in the long-term skill shortage list. I don't think that is the right approach. I think you'll need to be a bit more careful because you must always play to your strengths. And I like to give cricketing analogies, of course. So, but if you are a really good batsman, but you kind of come to know that some other team is looking for a bowler, and you then go there and try to be a bowler, obviously you will not be very successful. Although the requirement for that particular team is bowlers, doesn't mean that you will fit in because your main skill and your main passion is batting. So plenty of strengths always. Don't jump into a long-term skill shortage list course just because it says long-term. Because everybody, if you're good, you can get a job. A lot of our students who have done generic business courses have found jobs as recruitment consultants, as business officers, as marketing people, as administration people, customer service people. So and they didn't do anything in supply chain management. They just did generic business courses. So that will be my advice to you, Gautam. But because you're already talking to our team, I think the team is also listening in, by the way. So they will also have a chat with you. And I'm trying to see if they sent me any messages. Nothing. But I would say be very careful about jumping into a course because only it's sitting in the long-term skills shortage list. I would say have a look at that video I made and kind of tells you go with your heart as much as your mind, and everything will be fine. Okay, cool. Nalaka Disanaike asked me if you finish PhD, is it easy to get PR? Thanks. Nalaka, your name rings a bell, by the way. I think we guys exchanged some emails, but if I'm not mistaken, you're that senior guy from the hotel management industry, if I'm right. Okay. But anyway, to answer your question, doing a PhD is a definite advantage because one of the rules now for getting residency in New Zealand is, of course, besides getting your 160 points, you will need to also fulfill two other conditions. One, either you should have skilled employment or an offer of skilled employment in New Zealand, and two, you should have studied in New Zealand for at least 2 years and gotten a master's or a PhD. So that it's very clearly now mentioned in the latest immigration policy of New Zealand that doing a PhD is a definite advantage. So yeah, it'll definitely be an advantage. And right, and I'm looking at some. Yeah, I think Nalaka, you also had a lot of other questions, and I think I suggested that we have a professional conversation because right now in this 1 hour, I'm trying to deal with a lot of questions. So obviously, I can't spare more than 2-3 minutes for you. But I recommend that you have a 1 hour long conversation with me through Skype, and we can kind of get into the nitty gritties and details of your profile, your family profile, and kind of work it towards it. And whatever you pay, we will adjust it against for further visas and stuff for your family. So, but a PhD definitely, I think you should consider it. Okay, Mohammad Naveed says, "Dear Jacob, I want to know what that Kiwi is ready to offer me a job in security field. I have an experience in 3.5 in security. Is there any possibility I can get visa on private sector security job?" I don't think so. I don't think so. You also need to be very careful about people who make this job offers. A lot of them are trying to scam people, so just be very careful. Suhas has decided he is going to be the guy who will ask the most questions today. He asks, after getting student visa, will AJV be starting a starting spouse visa immediately, or it will be done? That I've already answered. Are there any visa process charges? Yes, Suhas. For the student visa, we don't charge anything unless and until there has been a prior visa rejection. But for the spouse visa, there is a fees. It's a lot of work for us to ensure that the spouse also gets the visa. Connect with our team and we will give you those fees. I can't recollect right now. But I think just connect with the team and we will tell you. Or team, if you can just uh, put my this thing, the fees for our current spouse visas, I can share it with them. Right. Gautam, team is complaining about you, Chabra, that you keep asking about jobs in residency and not focusing a lot on your offer that you're waiting from a very good institution. Gautam, all of the most of the students coming to New Zealand want jobs in residency. We get it. We are absolutely in sync with that, which is why I sit here week after week and talk to you guys about how it can be made possible. But the fact is, you've got to go step by step, Gautam. So when you're still starting your student pathway and you're already thinking about step number 9 and step number 10, it just creates a confusion for you unnecessarily, and you're kind of just waiting unnecessarily to do the first few steps. So my sincere suggestion, focus on just getting your student admission and visa into place, get into New Zealand safely, settle down properly, finish your course successfully, get your post-study work visa, start looking for the job. By the time you'll be a confident guy who's been in New Zealand for a long time, and that job and residency also will hopefully fall into place. But if you're kind of thinking too far ahead right now, you will miss the joy of your next few steps. So stay focused on your next few steps, Gautam. Yeah. Okay. Suhas also has been confirmed as our client, and Suhas, my team has also confirmed that we charge 1,000 New Zealand dollars for the spouse work visa. So that will be the cost being incurred for you. All right. Cool. But hey, Suhas, thank you so much for asking, joining AJB and working with us. Really appreciate it. Okay, Aaron George says, how about my chance as a quantity surveyor in New Zealand? I think quantity surveyors. Okay, let me see. Yeah, I think quantity surveyors are in the long-term skills shortage list of New Zealand, Erin. So it's a good. You're definitely in a good profession because quantity surveyors are in our long-term skills shortage list, and there are of course some conditions attached to it. You need to have um, the required qualification, and you also need to have a membership of the New Zealand Institute of Quantity Surveyors, and then they need to have approved your degree, and all those kinds of things are there. So at the very basic level, quantity surveyors are required in New Zealand, and I would request you to send your CV, and if you're married, also your spouse CV to info@ajvglobal.com. We will take a look and come back to you and tell you what your possibilities are. All right. Okay. Abhishek is asking me some question like where we can check the requirements for service industry. Same place, job sites, Abhishek. Robin Matthew, hi sir, I have completed my BTech in mechanical engineering, and now I'm working in Qatar. Just want to know the requirements to migrate to New Zealand, IELTS score needed, and the consultation fees. Robin, as I keep explaining in most of my videos, direct migration is practically ruled out. But what I would like you to do is email your CV, and if you're married, your spouse CV as well to info@ajbglobal.com. I will take a look. I will do an assessment and come back and tell you whether you're able to migrate directly. If you can't, of course, in most instances, direct migration is ruled out. But if not that, there is a secondary option called skilled migrant category job search visa. I'll come back and tell you whether you'd be eligible for that because you have a BTech in mechanical engineering and you've been working. So there might be some possibilities, but I'll need you to get more information. And so we'll do a free assessment, but send your CVs to info@ajvglobal.com. IELTS is required. You will require a 6.5 as principal applicant to get residency. And for your spouse, if you're married, depends whether we are taking points for that person's qualification or not. So based on that, the IELTS requirement will change. And consultation fees, again, once we assess and think, yeah, we can progress your fees, we can share the consultation fees. But step number one, email your CVs to info@ajvglobal.com. All right, cool. Okay. Mohammed Gamal says, I got Silver Fern visa and coming to New Zealand soon. Could you help me finding job as engineer? And if I couldn't find work, can I work other jobs and apply for work visa even if it is not in my expertise? Number one, Mohammed, we are still not in a position to provide out and out job search services to anybody other than our own students and clients. So the answer to your first question is no. And if I couldn't find work, can I? And if I couldn't find that particular, work, can I work other jobs and apply for work visa, even if it is not in my expertise? Technically, no, because whatever work you find needs to be related to your qualification and your work experience. So, but because again, like I said, very difficult to assess these things when on a live chat situation like this and trying. So, what I would suggest is do the same thing. Send your CV, and if you're also married, your spouse CV to info@ajvglobal.com, and we'll take a look. And also share your contact number, and we will also give our contact numbers in the return email we send you. We can be in touch, and then going forward, once you arrive, you can also speak to us locally, and we will see what service we can provide you. Okay, cool. Right. Okay. My team is also pinging me saying I'm almost out of time. So, well, my throat certainly feels like I'm out of time. Okay, there's another question from Cats Oppa. Interesting name. I would like to ask about courses of trade. How can one do courses of trade and like carpentry, bricklaying, painters, and others, and how can they lead them to get graduate visa? To do a course and trades, to get the graduate job search visa, you need to study at level 7 or above. And most trades will not be at level 7, they'll be below level 7. If they're below level 7, they need to be an exact match to a course defined in the long-term skill shortage list. So I would suggest, Cats, that you get in touch with us, and we'll give you a list of what these courses are, and that based on that, you can take a call whether it's worthwhile for you to come to New Zealand or not. But we will give you a set of courses which are potentially can lead to your graduate job search visa. Okay. Tim, let me know when I need to wind up because I'll keep going. And I'm for okay. This is another one from Aditya Tucker, who says, "Hey, I'm from India and doing mechanical engineering. What is the minimum CGPA or CPI required?" I don't know for what you're asking that, Aditya. Whether you're looking at further studies in New Zealand or for some other purpose. Normally, for further studies, I can't think of I can't convert CGPA in my head, but anything 60 and above is a decent score. Of course, different universities have different selection criteria. So, what I would recommend is share some more details, connect with our team, send your CV to info@ajvglobal.com. We will take a look, and if you're looking at further studies, we will tell you which are the universities you can consider, and if your CGPA is good enough or not, what IELTS or PTE you require. So that's something we can suggest. If you're looking at something beyond studies, we will come back and give you some advice on what as that as well. So just share your CV, send it to info@ajvglobal.com. Okay, cool. Right, Julian has asked some other question. Julian and Suhas, because since you're already working with us, we will give some of your answers to you back through our private interactions with you guys. Okay. So I'm just jumping some of these questions because you guys have repeated your questions. So I'm just. Pujan Chaudhary asks, which university provides MBA? Pujan, there are quite a few options. I think by and large, most of the universities I think do offer an MBA, and there are also some good private institutions. I can think of one institution in Auckland called AIS St. Helens, which is Auckland Institute of Studies. They have a good MBA. There's another one also which I can think of. So there are definitely a few options for MBA. So again, like I can't read them or recollect all of them in this chat. So I would suggest that you get in touch with our team, and the easiest way to is they'll connect with you, or send your CV to info@ajvglobal.com, and we will check it out. Right. Last question from Suhas. Okay, it says, in which cases spouse visas get rejected? When you're not in a genuine relationship, Suhas, simple. If that person is not your genuine spouse, it will get rejected. So, okay, I think I will need to go now. Quite a lot of questions are still there, guys. And I would have loved to answer all of them, but we limit these sessions to an hour because of the fact that, first of all, it's pretty tough on me and on my throat. And Also, we'd like you guys to engage with us not only in this live chat, but talk to our team. And I promise you that each and everyone who's and I see some very good questions about environmental management and some of the very good questions, actually. I mean, I really wish I could have continued and answered all this. I'm going to come back live again this week. So check on our group and on our page to see when I'm going to come back live again. Before that itself, of course, we would have connected with you and given the information that you guys are looking for. And as I said before, if our team is trying to connect with you, please do not shy away. Don't be afraid. We are not hardcore, devilish salespeople. We will not come behind you. We would love to give you good information. Based on that, you guys can take an informed decision and decide whether it is the right thing for you to invest money, time, effort, and emotions into coming to New Zealand. It's not for everybody, but for the lucky few who do make it to New Zealand, like myself, great place to live, guys. I mean, I personally couldn't have wished for a better place for myself and my family to be growing up and to enjoying the beauty and everything else around in New Zealand. So if you're thinking New Zealand, think AJV. We are there, and we will do it always with a big smile on our face. All right. Thanks for joining my live chat as always. Please share it with your family and friends. I believe the live chat recording will come up onto the page automatically. So please share it. And yeah, look forward to working with you. And as always, Kiora from Hamilton.